Hello everyone. Today I will show you a fun, quick and visual one that looks something like this. You start with any card, in this case the ace. So in 1, 2, 3 that is changed into another card, and then that trick is done, and then you can clean it up. So that's what we're going to go through today. So this is the dealer's whip that you start with, and the first important thing you do is to learn to push 2 cards like that, and then as you are turning one card over, your pinky is catching a break on the second card. So it looks like this. You push 2 cards, and as this one is turned over, this thumb moves back the card, and then you catch a break like that with your pinky. So push 2 cards, catch the break, and as you're turning over, then you have that one. So basically then you have 2 cards. So push over, catch a break, and then align the card. That's the first step. And after we have done that, we are basically going to use our fingers to square up everything in order to conceal that we have 2 cards. And the easiest way to do that is to basically use the thumb, the index and the middle finger in order to hold the card, something like that, because then you have 3 points of contact and you can square it up. And while you're at it, you can also twist the card a bit like that, so just a few degrees like that, because then the other hand is going to use the thumb and the middle finger in order to grab it by the corners. So for the second phase, you see as I'm turning it over, I'm starting to catch the break, I'm starting to rotate, grab it by the corners, align it, and then transfer it into the other hand with the corners in order to set me up for the trick. And once in this position, we're going to perform the color change, and the only fingers needed are first these 2, right? The thumb and the middle finger in order to hold it by the corners. And this hand in the dealer's grip will only use the thumb and the middle finger and hold these corners like that. So all corners are held. So this is the main position in order to perform the trick. And what I like to do is that I like to bend this a bit like that, because if you use this hand to bend the cards, they will stick together and they will not separate, so others can see that it's 2 cards. So by just giving it a slight bend, then the cards will stick together as one, and that will also help this flicking motion here. And what is going to happen in slow motion is that you're going to release the thumb slightly first and then the middle finger, so it will be something like that, but quickly then. So like that. And you don't need a lot of force, so if you maintain the cards bent like that, you only need to kind of move away with this hand. So like that, you see, move away. Move away. And so don't worry about this angle, because people are going to be in this direction here and they will only see the 9, and as you're moving it away, then it turns into the 5. And what you can do is just to play around with the force and with the feel. So this hand is only going to first of all, try without bending and just try different releases, different forces, and suddenly you will feel how much you really need to flick. So just keep on doing this and then grab it by the corners until you get the feel like, yeah, but this feels natural for me. So after many times of that, you will get hold of how hard you need to press the corners and how swiftly and softly you can do the releases. And after having done this for many times, I usually just do like that. Because if you bend the cards too much, then the card will not flip in a correct way. And if you hold it too loose, then it might end up like with an angle. So you want this one to be as flat as possible. And what I mean by that is, let's say here is how flat I would like it to be, then the force should also be so that it becomes that flat when it's done. And for some minor details, when you press over the cards, if you press too much, then people will really see that two cards were being pushed over, and then as you're coming back, then they see that something happened with the second card. So you can try to conceal that by just pushing minimum and then catch the break and then turn it over. So you want to hide it in this motion so that it looks like one card, and then as you're pushing two cards, then you catch the break, you see. And don't worry about this angle, because this is just our point of view. The spectators could be in this direction, so they won't see the break. So practice getting that one in. And as soon as you have turned over, use the fingers directly to square up everything so that you get a nice and smooth double lift. Because if you don't do that correctly and you just do something like that, and then people will somehow see that it's two cards that you pick up. So just turn over the card, have the break, use your fingers, twist it a bit, then transfer. And once in this direction, give it a slight bend, grab it by the corners, and 1, 2, 3, then you have it. And once you're done, just let go of everything, because then this one here is just drop down and you can conceal it and then turn it over like that. So you do that, you 1, 2, 3, you change it, drop it down smoothly, show that it's one card, turn it over, and then clean up the trick. And some final thoughts. When I borrow other people's decks, this is the go-to trick, simply because everyone is always sitting around you and you're not familiar with their deck of cards. But you can always do this one because it doesn't require any type of concealing, and it always looks like one card. So you can play around with just turning over a card and then really letting people know that this is just a card. And then once you want to do the trick, then you push it over and then you grab the double. So people will still think that this is only one card, and then you do that. And some people will notice that, yeah, but the angle is slightly different. We kind of held it by these corners and then we ended up with these corners, but they will be more focusing on the color change itself and then be amazed by that. And once you drop it down, then you still show that it's only one card. So it's only within the motion of the color change that something strange happened. So like that, 1, 2, 3, change, put it back, just one card, and then you can close it up. Okay, that's the color change. Thank you all.